Hello, this is Dennis McDonald with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can get us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com. And this is a customer's telephone, Nathan. And we're in the middle of repairing the telephone, and we're just showing you a little bit about what's going on. In here on the hook switch, there's a hook switch here, and there was a bracket right here, and it was kind of in a C shape basically, and it was not strong enough to move the fingers on the hook switch. So that leads me to believe that it was kind of set up for this switch right here, which is a whole totally different switch on a PTT telephone. So I'm not sure exactly how this base for a PTT telephone got with this stone body, but there's some things that's not adding up. The bottom plate, I've already straightened it out a little bit. You can see right in here, this is bent all up. It's all bent up, and I'm going to try to point that out a little better right here, and it was all bent up over here. So I'm not real sure what was going on or how this thing got to be, this telephone, or what they were doing, but the bells here are supposed to be aligned with the holes here, and they weren't aligned with them. It was turned around. But they're actually, this plate, when it's on and it's on properly, should be with they're the bell holes. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up soldering. I had to solder in a bracket, a piece on this C to strengthen it. So you have to be ready if you're going to be in electronics or you're going to work on electronic stuff. You have to be ready to fabricate pieces. I make pieces all the time. I know a lot of good electronic technicians that I've ran into through the years, but some of them just can't make nothing. I mean, if you get them out of the realm of soldering some components together, they don't know how to engineer a circuit, and they don't know how to engineer or fabricate a piece of metal. So, you know, if they can't do that, well then, you know, then you got problems. You have to be able to fabricate pieces of metal and make things, and we find ourselves here at this shop making stuff all the time. So I'm going to finish off this solder here real quick, so I'm finishing soldering in that bracket, and I'm going to turn it over here. I want to get a little more solder on that and make sure that that's going to be good. Now, when you're soldering two pieces of metal together like this, what you want to do is you want to rough up the metal, okay? Rough it up with a little file. We use all kinds of different files here. Here's one of them. And you want to rough up the metal, and then what you want to do is you want to put yourself some solder paste so it gets a good hold. So this is an antique can of solder paste. I've had it for years, but I'm getting a little low on it. I've got a couple others, so I'll be all right. So anyway, basically, I think that's cooled down enough for me to show you this. Got a lot of sunlight coming in here, so it's kind of messing with our picture. As you can see, that basically, maybe I ought to just lay it down. What we had here was we originally had what looked like a C, and it's got a hole in it right there, and that's for the screw right here that holds it on the bottom of the hook switch. See, and so what they expected to happen was with this piece of metal was this was bolted to the hook switch right here, and it was just kind of like a little C. Well, I put this piece of metal in here to strengthen this bracket, because if this piece of metal is not here, I've already had this telephone together, and I know that this is not strong enough to consistently push this hook switch down. This hook switch is it's got has a lot of resistance on it. Okay, and it's kind of hard to push down with your finger. Okay, so you gotta eat your Wheaties when you push this down. So that's why I strengthened this up. Now, you know, if this were in another shop, I'm not even sure they'd have got this far with this telephone. They probably would have sent it to me, because I'm the guy you usually want to send telephones to. And most of the people in the business, when they come across these type of problems, the phone ends up here. So, and well, anyway, that's a long story. But in any other shop, if they would have been putting this telephone together, they would have never done this for the customer. And this is just a little more bang for your buck. You have to do certain things like that. I'm not sure. This is not a factory piece. It's not even cut straight. It's got an angle cut there. So whoever did the modification for this body, for this base into this body, well, I don't know. It was an okay job, but it's not very professional. So because what they did was, on this back bracket, they had the line cord hanging out of one of these holes, and they had the handset cord, I think, hanging out of this square hole, and it was all kind of just flopping out. And that's not really how it's supposed to be. The handset cord is supposed to come out of the side of a phone, and the line cord is supposed to come out of the back of the phone. But this isn't really the back of the phone. This is where the bells are, and that's the front of the phone. So we're going to have to get this all straightened out and see how it works out, and however this ends up. The other thing I want to show you is where I was talking a little earlier, a lot of this stuff was dented up. I don't know what they were doing. I'm not sure why they dented this up, but I repaired this one. And then now I'm going to show you how to repair this other one. Basically, you just take yourself here's a pair of lineman's pliers, and I'm going to set them on my leg. Okay, I'm going to try to do this so that you get the ideal while I'm on the phone with you. As long as you got that, as long as you have that on a piece of metal, okay, that's nice and flat. Here we go. There you go. Now, I don't usually do this one-handed, okay? This is a little abnormal for me, because usually I'm doing this with two hands. So I've got a little better of control about what's going on. But I'm not sure. I guess what we're getting to is, I'm not sure what they were doing here. I'm not sure if they knew, if they were sure what they were doing here. Because what the situation is they've got this plate bent up in places that really had nothing to do with anything when you're doing this conversion, okay? When you're putting this base to this body. So anyway, this is a little another video of what's going on basically with the telephone. We're going to make another one. Thanks for watching. And this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair. And goodbye.